I went on Amazon and I bought all the fans that I could because it's time for Battle of the Fans. It's about to get hotter outside. We got Hibloks, we got the BoboVR S3 that has an included fan in it, and we got this one I'm curious about because it says fan, but we got to get into that and see if that's really the case. We already did a full review on the S3 we'll talk about today, but if you want to see the full video, I'll leave a link at the very end for all of you. This Hibloks is made for Quest 3, but it's more of a traditional style we're used to from the Quest 2, where it's a facial interface with a fan attached to the top. Multi-piece facial interface, interestingly. There's the fan. Right there, you can even see, if you look closely, the fans on the top to the inside. This does blow inward in towards your eyes, so it might put you at a bit more of a risk of dry eye, but it will be the ultimate way to cool and prevent fogging. It's got 0, 1, or 2, so basically off, low, or high. Came with some charge, and it's a decent amount of air it's pushing. Comes with a cable to charge it, but of course no power brick, and some books and crap. Now the design here has me intrigued. It's like, this must just be for glasses wearers. This must be a spacer to add some space on that. But if you don't have them, then you can use it just like this because it has the Velcro spots for it still. It's got a similar cushion to that ice silk cushion we talked about with the AMVR interface. So it's a cloth that's really gonna soak up your sweat with some sort of memory foam gel type inside. It is very thick, so I bet people would find this more comfortable. There's some sort of air diffuser type filter things up top, kind of an odd choice in there. They look very cheap and kind of haphazardly stuck on, like so haphazardly, like if you just grab it, it'll very easily come out. That's not very well attached and kind of seems like an afterthought. We'll set that aside. Let's get this other one out. Big difference, of course, with the S3 here. This is built onto the head strap. That means the battery of the head strap runs it. You don't have to worry about separately charging this thing. You don't have to worry about the battery life in it. As long as your battery is good, this thing is good to go. And it goes all the way from 0 to 100, so it's multiple settings. And now we got this X3 ACF, that stands for air circulation fan. Although I couldn't figure out on Amazon a definitive answer on whether this actually has a fan or if this is just a ventilated interface. I feel like if it doesn't have a fan built in, that's kind of false advertising in my opinion. And of course they covered the whole spec sheet with a delivery sticker, so we're just gonna have to open and investigate. It advertises that it uses cooling gel, so in theory this thing should stay a lot cooler. It feels heavy enough to have a fan in it. Man, the build quality on this one feels good, and it has these dials on the sides. That's for people with glasses. You can just turn the dial and adjust the whole thing in and out. I don't see any power. It looks like these are made to attach a fan to it. Do you have to buy the fan separately? They call this the fan interface because that's, I mean, clearly there's a spot to slide something onto there. It talks about attaching a fan downward. It says the fan can work with the Quest 3. I am kind of lost. Boy, the big size of the interface is not in love with my S3. It really does feel like it's like a rubbery gel inside there. It does not feel like a memory foam. The cooling gel aspect of it might really be true. It goes all the way in, the knobs are still there so you can easily adjust it while it's on. Unfortunately, it's not perfectly molded for my face shape. Like there's a pretty big gap here. I can get my pinky on the side pretty easily. So there's a gap on the side that's gonna let in some light. But the actual face pad itself is really comfortable. That gel inside of it makes it feel cool to the touch. I can't find anything on Amazon, on their store, anywhere else, but this clearly looks like a fan is supposed to be attached. So I'm guessing there's going to be a package deal coming with a separate fan. For now, you've just got vents that somehow surprisingly don't have much light bleed. The interface portion of itself, I am impressed. I do feel like I got false advertising. Like everything about it says fan. There is just nothing here. These are just plastic. I want to rip the damn thing apart at this point and verify that these are just tubes. Something should attach here for a fan. Okay, well, I guess we're stuck with Hibloks today. Snaps right in the top, whole interface is gonna go in there. Boy, that thing it is bulky. Now we're rocking two fans. We're rocking the S3 fan and we're rocking the Hibloks front fan. It sticks out a lot. I will say, like, you've gotten used to the Quest 3 being closer to your face than the Quest 2 was. You've gotten used to extra space. This not only sticks out a long ways and makes a tiny bit more of a hit risk, but it also just is not very visually appealing to me. The nice thing about one with this, I've tested other fans that do circulating modes like this, and a lot of them are like very clearly on, very clearly off every few seconds, and it's distracting. This one kind of ramps from low to high to low to high, and you don't really notice the change that much in the volume. High is a lot of air. You're getting a lot of wind in on your eyes. Definitely could dry your eyes out. If you're someone who wears contacts, you're probably not gonna be in love with this after a while because it's gonna dry them out, but you're definitely getting the most wind you possibly can inside the headset, which will prevent any fogging, keep you cooler during really active gameplay. It's audibly noisy, but it's not a vibration noise like some of them. Like you'll hear the vibration through the headset, you're just hearing the actual fans on top running. The interface itself, I will say, is decently comfortable. It touches all parts of my face. I'm not getting a lot of pressure here, but it is touching my face completely, so I'm not getting any light bleeds around the edges here. I wish it came with an alternate pleather pad though, because I'm not in love with these pads. They just soak up so much sweat over time, they get so gross. Pleather, you can wipe it clean. So the big question now is it worth adding this additional fan? Do I just want to stick with this fan I have, or do we want to wait for whatever the heck possibly comes with this? So we'll take this all away for some testing for a little while and get back to you with final thoughts. After a good chunk of time spent, we are back to talk about all three, although one of them doesn't have a fan. But Hibloks, the $50 one we showed you, nearly exactly 3 hours of battery life. Actually 2 hours and 56 minutes on setting 2. Go a little longer on setting 1 since it's power cycling, but you get about 3 hours of battery life, which is pretty standard compared to any other fans, especially all of the Quest 2 fans we tested. Developed a weird, like water in the fan kind of sound. That's concerning, especially because I mean, a few days, I've had it less than a week. So I feel like it's a little early to be having problems, but that is an issue. I feel like with having a fan like this, debris can pretty easily get into the top. It's not a consistent issue, but something to think about. We'll start with the cons. 1, the weird sound that's happening. 2, this weird thing that I showed you before in here. I finally just ripped one off because it kept trying to fall off on me. I thought it was gonna go in my eye while I was playing, but I ripped one off to see if there was any difference, and I didn't notice a difference. It's kind of diffusing the air a bit maybe, but I actually liked the more direct approach of not having it there. This just seemed like an unnecessary afterthought, and I'm just gonna peel the glue off these and just not have them, honestly. Comfort, the padding on it is nice and feels really good, but overall the shape of the whole thing still didn't quite match my face to where you're getting the pressure more here and here, but it did do a good job of blocking out light, albeit it doesn't have any sort of nose guard, so you're getting tons of light in there. And I thought maybe it would actually be, there was no nose guard because it would work with the Meta Quest charging dock, but alas, moving it around, messing with it, I can't even get the light to light up one time. Definitely was not made for that purpose. And $50 isn't cheap, especially for how far this thing sticks out and how much it kind of just seems like they adapted a Quest 2 one quickly to Quest 3. So for all those reasons, it's not for me. I'm not gonna recommend this or leave a link in the description. I did like the magnetic clip-on design of this. It just made me wish the whole interface was magnetic. I don't know why Meta didn't do that, but it's not a terrible fan. I just know there's gonna be better ones coming for sure. A lot more are starting to come out, we're seeing on Amazon. And this one just feels like a weird ball cap thing from the Quest 2 that got brought over. Not quite there yet. Now it's hard to even review this as a fan because there is no fan. The Amazon page doesn't really, I wouldn't say it's false advertising on there because it doesn't really mention that, but the box itself says fan. This clearly looks like this is the lip for some kind of fan to slide onto. So my theory is that they're designing a fan now separately for this and they're gonna sell it either as a kit or you can get the fan as an add-on. So for now, Major Con doesn't have a fan. It is a lot cheaper without a fan, but outside of that, I love the nose light guard, the way it felt on my nose was really comfortable. The actual shape of this thing on my face felt good. The padding of the gel, the way it all meshes on your face, the cooling. And although the Lekoye has a nose guard cover, unfortunately if you keep it on, I could not get it to charge on the Meta Quest charging dock. But if you remove it, it does seem to charge just fine without it, giving it one more advantage that makes it a little better than the Hibloks or some other facial interfaces for now. This actually felt like a really good interface. I really like that about this. It just looks really weird that it doesn't have the fan. They chose gray instead of black, which obviously the black would have been the right pick with the design of the Quest. I tried to position it to where my S3 fan would blow into these, but it just wouldn't work. They're too far forward, they're too far out, but I was hoping maybe I could get it just right and air would kind of flow through. I feel like maybe if I took the top of these off, because you can see there's a seam all the way around this bit, I might take the top off and see how bad the light bleed is, and if it's not bad, I might just take these things off and then air would channel directly into my eyes. So I'm gonna play around with that a bit more, but that's modification. It's not really something I should probably be doing in the review here. So ultimately, right now as it stands, the fan on the S3 is sufficient. I'm enjoying it. And one thing about it that's really a feature we never had with the Quest 2 is it works off the battery on the back. So as long as your battery has power, your fan has power. There were so many times with the Quest 2, especially with these kind of fans, where the switch stayed on. It wasn't a button that would automatically power off. And some of them do have automatic mode demos where they shut off, but so many times I'd come back to my Quest 2, my fan on top was dead because I didn't think about charging. It was one more thing to charge, that ultimately the convenience of the S3 is just right now the way to go. I love that they built in the fan this way. I just hope that they introduce a facial interface that has vents for it to get a little bit more into the eye area to help with the fogging. But if you're someone who likes it without the facial interface, the fan works great. It just all blows right through there on your face directly. So the only thing there will be a link in the description for now is gonna be the S3 Pro strap, which I still absolutely love. This is my top recommendation. If you missed the review, I'll leave a link up in the corner right here. I'll keep you posted if this thing gets a fan because I'm excited at the future of it, but right now it's just a freaking weird plastic interface, and this one just isn't quite there yet. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you wanna see the full review on the S3, head up here to check that out. But once again, thank you so much for being here with me all the time, and I'll see you in another reality.